Index A Academic Libraries, 5, 5567. See also Library Types, Cataloging in, 6067, Collection Development, 5152, 77, Information Literacy Instruction, 7475, 103, Use of LCC, 3739, 5657. American Library Association, ALA, 45, 78, 112. Anglo-American Cataloging Rules, AACR 2, 61. Archival Science, 8991, 155. See also Digital Preservation, Principles of, 8990, versus Library Science, 89. Authority Control, 6465, 112. 113. See also Cataloging, Library of Congress. Subject headings: LCSH, B. Bibliographic Records, 6163, 112. See also Mark Format Boolean Operators, 102, 104. Browsing, Shelving, 3839, 5657. See Call Numbers, 3334, 3639, 5657. See also Cutter Numbers. Cataloging, 6067, 112. 113. See also Authority Control, Metadata, Anglo-American Cataloging Rules, AACR 2, 61, Machine Readable Cataloging, Mark, 6263, 112, Resource Description and Access, RDA, 6162, 112. Classification Systems, 2944. See also Dewey Decimal Classification, DDC, Library of Congress. Classification, LCC, Comparison of, 4344, Definition and Purpose, 2931, in Digital Environments, 39, 115. 116. Collection Development, 5152, 7778. Controlled Vocabularies, 64, 102, 113. See also Thesauri Cutter Numbers, 3637. See also Call Numbers. D. Dewey Decimal Classification, DDC, 4044, 115, History and Development, 4041, Practical Application in Public Libraries, 4243, 56, Structure and Notation, 4142. Digital Libraries, 114. 117, Metadata Schemas 4, 116. 117, Use of Classification in, 39, 115. 116. Digital Preservation, 1991, 155. See also Archival Science. Dublin Core, 116. 117. E-Encyclopedias, 2127, as Curation of Knowledge, 2122, Digital vs Print, 2527, Evaluation of, 2425, Historical Development, 2223, in Library Collections, 52, 56, 81, Role in Research, 2324. Ethics, Information, 78, 118. F. Folksonomies, 39, 115. Functional Requirements for Bibliographic Records, FRBR, 62. I. Indexing, 64, 102, 113. Information Centers 3, 7184. See also Special Libraries, Definition and Types, 7172, Management of, 7679, Services Provided, 7276. Information Literacy, 7475, 103. 104, 118. Integrated Library Systems, ILS, 63, 111. 113. Interlibrary Loan, IL, 75, 112. K. Knowledge Management, 7984, in Corporate Settings, 7981, Role of Information Professionals, 8284, Tools and Technologies, 8182. L. Library of Congress, U.S., 32, 62, 112. Library of Congress Classification, LCC, 3139, 4344, 56, Class A, General Works, 33, Class B, philosophy, psychology, religion. 33, Class C, auxiliary sciences of history. 33, Class D, world history. 33, Class EF, American history. 33, 56, Class G, geography, anthropology, recreation. 33, Class H, social sciences. 33, 56, Class J, political science. 33, Class K, law. 33, Class L, education. 33, Class M, music. 33, Class N, fine arts. 33, Class P, language and literature. 33, 56, 57, Class Q, science. 33, 56, Class R, medicine. 33, Class S, agriculture. 33, Class T, technology. 33, 56, Class UV, military science, naval science. 33, Class Z, bibliography, library science. 33, practical application in academic libraries. 37, 39, 56, 57, structure and notation. 32, 37, Library of Congress subject headings, LCSH. 63, 64, 102, 113. See also authority control library types. 45. See also academic libraries, public libraries, special libraries, national libraries. 5. 32, school libraries. 5. 43. M-Mark format. 62, 63, 112. See also bibliographic records metadata. 60, 62, 116, 117. See also cataloging, Dublin Core Museums. 72, 89. Online public access catalog, OPAC. 39, 63, 101, 102, 112, 113. Ontologies, 82, 117. P. Practical applications, by setting. 49, 117, academic libraries. 55, 67, cataloging and technical services. 60, 67, collection development. 51, 52, 77, instruction and information literacy. 74, 75, 103, use of LCC. 37, 39, 56, 57, archives. 89, 91, corporate information centers. 79, 84, digital repositories. 114, 117, public libraries. 53, 55, community outreach. 54, 55, readers advisory. 54, use of DDC. 42, 43, 56, special libraries, medical, legal, etc. 72, 79, public libraries. 5, 42, 43, 53, 55. See also library types are reference interviews. 73, 74, 103, reference services. 72, 76, 103, 104, research support. 55, 74, 75, resource description and access, RDA. 61, 62, 112, search strategies. 102, 104, semantic web. 117, special libraries. 5, 71, 72. See also information centers, library types. Law libraries. 5, 33, 72, medical libraries. 5, 33, 72, subject headings. 63, 64, 102. See also Library of Congress subject headings, LCSH, T taxonomies. 82, technical services. 60, 67, 112, 113. See also cataloging technology. 111, 118, discovery layers. 113, future trends. 117, 118, integrated library systems, ILS. 63, 111, 113, thesauri. 64, 113. See also controlled vocabularies, user experience, UX. 101, 105, instruction and support. 103, 104, interface design. 101, 102, Physical space. Planning, 104-105-ZZ3950 Protocol, 112 Summary of refinements, 1 Consistent cross-referencing, added. See also references to guide users to related topics, e.g., from authority control to cataloging and LCSH, 2 Formatting, used M-dashes, consistently for all sub-entries for improved visual scanning. 3 Clarification, added a note under archival science to highlight its core principles and its distinction from library science. 4 Logical grouping, ensured related terms point to each other, e.g., bibliographic records and mark format, controlled vocabularies and thesauri. 5 Alphabetical order, double-check that all entries and sub-entries are in strict alphabetical order within their letter section. 6 Page number format, standardized the use of n-dashes, 4 page ranges instead of hyphens. Part I, Foundations of Organized Knowledge. Chapter 1, The Ecosystem of Libraries and Information Centers, P1, Chapter Abstract. This chapter introduces the reader to the vast and varied world of modern knowledge institutions. It moves beyond the traditional concept of a library as a simple repository of books, redefining it as a dynamic community hub, a research engine, and a vital information service. The chapter provides a foundational understanding of the different types of libraries and information centers, their unique missions, and the evolving role of the information professional who connects users with the knowledge they seek. 11 Defining the modern library, more than books. 111 From silent repository to community anchor, the shifting paradigm of library services. 112 The third place, libraries as public spaces for collaboration, creativity, and community engagement. 113 The digital branch, how libraries provide 24/7 access to e-books, databases, streaming media, and online learning platforms. 114 Libraries as technology hubs, providing access to computers, Wi-Fi, 3D printers, VR equipment, and digital media labs. 115 Core values, reaffirming the principles of intellectual freedom, equitable access, privacy, and lifelong learning. 12 Types of libraries and information centers. 121 Public libraries, serving the entire community mission, lifelong learning, popular materials, recreational reading, and local history services, story times, public programs, maker spaces, notary services, and community outreach. 122 Academic libraries, supporting scholarship and pedagogy mission, to serve the students, faculty, and staff of a college or university. Services, research support, information literacy instruction, institutional repositories, and course reserves. 123 School libraries, school media centers integral to the K-12 learning environment mission, to develop information literate students and foster a love of reading. Services, collaborative teaching with faculty, curating curriculum-aligned resources, and managing learning technologies. 124 Special libraries, meeting the specialized needs of a specific clientele. Definition, libraries in corporate, government, nonprofit, law firm, hospital, or museum settings. Mission, to provide focused information that supports the goals of the parent organization. Examples, law libraries, medical libraries, corporate research libraries. 125 National libraries, preserving the cultural and intellectual heritage of a nation. Mission, legal deposit, bibliographic control, e.g., creating a national bibliography, preservation and research. Examples, the Library of Congress, U.S., the British Library, UK, Bibliothèque Nationale de France, BNF. 126 Archives, preserving records of enduring value. Distinction from libraries, focus on unique, unpublished materials and the principles of provenance and original order. Types, institutional archives, e.g., of a university or corporation, and collecting archives, e.g., a historical society. 13 The information professional's role. 131 Evolving titles, from librarian to information specialist, data curator, UX librarian, digital archivist. 132 Core competencies, mastery of organization, expertise in classification, cataloging, and metadata reference and research, conducting in-depth reference interviews and providing expert research assistance, instruction and teaching, designing and delivering instruction on information literacy and resource use, collection management, curating and developing physical and digital collections based on user needs, technology proficiency, managing integrated library systems, ILS, databases, and emerging technologies. 133 The professional as a connector, bridging the gap between information and the user. 134 Advocacy and management, promoting the value of the library and managing budgets, personnel, and projects. Chapter conclusion. This chapter establishes that the ecosystem of knowledge institutions is diverse yet unified by a common goal: to organize, preserve, and provide access to information. Understanding this ecosystem is the first step toward appreciating the complex systems and practical applications explored in the rest of the book. Connects to index terms, library types, P4, information centers, P3, special libraries, P5, archives, P89, Part I, foundations of organized knowledge. Chapter 2, the encyclopedia, humanities compendium of knowledge, P21, chapter abstract. This chapter explores the encyclopedia as a fundamental model for organizing and disseminating knowledge. It traces its evolution from ancient manuscripts to the dynamic digital platforms of today, highlighting the enduring human desire to compile and systematize understanding. The chapter delves into the critical editorial processes that underpin authority and trust, provides a framework for evaluating encyclopedic information, and analyzes the profound impact of the digital revolution on access, creation, and the very nature of collaborative knowledge. 21 From Pliny to Wikipedia, a historical overview. 211 Ancient precedents, the foundational works of Pliny the Elder's Naturalis Historia, and the Chinese Yongle Encyclopedia as early attempts at universal knowledge. Compilation. 212 The Enlightenment and the birth of the modern encyclopedia, the philosophical and ideological drive behind Diderot and D'Alembert's encyclopedia as a tool for disseminating rational thought and challenging authority. 213 The Victorian standard bearers, the Encyclopaedia Britannica and its model of expert-authored, authoritative summaries for the educated public, the business of door-to-door sales and prestige. 214 The late 20th century, CD-ROMs and accessibility, Microsoft Encarta and others democratizing access with multimedia, yet still operating on a traditional editorial, top-down model. 215 The Wiki Revolution, the disruptive emergence of Wikipedia, shifting the paradigm from expert-led to crowdsourced knowledge creation. 22 The editorial process, curating and validating knowledge. 221 The traditional model, commissioning recognized subject experts, rigorous peer review and fact-checking processes, hierarchical editorial oversight and strong stylistic control to ensure consistency. The challenge of update cycles and publication delays. 222 The Wikipedia model, the wisdom of the crowd vs the tyranny of the mob, principles of open collaboration and inherent tensions, policies and guidelines, neutral point of view, NPOV, verifiability and no original research as the core content policies. The role of the community, administrators, bots, and dedicated editors who patrol changes and resolve disputes. The concept of wiki gnomes who perform behind-the-scenes maintenance. 23 Critically evaluating encyclopedic sources. 231 Authority, who is the author/creator? What are their credentials? For wikis, who is the underlying community and what are their policies? 232 Accuracy, is the information correct, verifiable, and supported by evidence and citations? 233 Objectivity, is the information presented without bias? Does it present multiple viewpoints on controversial topics? 234 Currency, when was the item published or last updated? Is the topic one that requires up-to-the-minute information? 235 Coverage, what is the scope of the work? Is it general or specialized? Does it cover the topic in sufficient depth for your need? 236 The Wikipedia Talk Page, teaching users to consult the behind-the-scenes discussion to assess the reliability and notability of an article. 24 The Digital Revolution, accessibility and dynamic content. 241 The demise of print, The economic and practical factors that led to the end of the print encyclopedia era. 242 Universal access, the breaking down of socio-economic and geographical barriers to information. 243 Hyperlinking and interconnected knowledge, moving from linear reading to networked exploration through embedded links and references. 244 Dynamic and living content, the ability to update information in real time to reflect new events, discoveries, and scholarship. 245 Multimedia integration, the seamless incorporation of images, audio, video, and interactive media into entries. 246 The challenges, information overload, the need for digital literacy to navigate sources, and the perpetual struggle against vandalism and misinformation. Chapter conclusion, the encyclopedia, in all its forms, remains a powerful testament to our desire to organize and understand the world. Its evolution mirrors broader technological and societal shifts. The modern information professional must understand this evolution to effectively guide users in navigating the vast landscape of encyclopedic resources, from the curate authority of Britannica to the dynamic, community-driven expanse of Wikipedia. Connects to index terms, encyclopedias, p. 21, in library collections, p. 52, 56, 81. Role in research, p. 23 to 24, digital libraries, p. 114, information literacy, p. 74, 103, chapter 3, which serves as the crucial theoretical foundation for the practical systems discussed in the subsequent chapters. Part I, Foundations of Organized Knowledge. Chapter 3, The Bedrock of Organization, Classification Theory, p. 29, Chapter Abstract. This chapter establishes the fundamental principles that make organized retrieval of information possible. It answers the critical why behind classification. Before exploring the how, the chapter introduces the core concepts of bibliographic classification, provides a comparative overview of the two major enumerative systems, LCC and DDC, and explores more modern, flexible approaches like faceted classification. It concludes by examining how these traditional theories are being adapted and challenged in the digital age. 31 Why classify? Purpose and principles. 311 The problem of information chaos, the necessity of bringing order to vast collections to make them usable. The concept of a unique address for each item. 312 Core functions and purposes, location, to find a known item on a shelf, a specific call number, collocation, to gather related items together in one place. All books on quantum physics are shelved near each other. Navigation, to allow for serendipitous discovery through browsing. Subject access, to provide a systematic map of human knowledge. 313 Fundamental principles, universality, the aim to encompass all knowledge. Hierarchy, the structure of moving from the general to the specific, e.g., science, physics, mechanics, fluid dynamics. Notation, the symbolic code, letters and numbers, that represents the subject and provides the filing order. Mnemonics, the design of notations to be memorable and intuitive where possible, e.g., B for philosophy in LCC, 7 for arts and recreation in DDC. 32. Major systems, an introduction to LCC and DDC. 321 A comparative framework, introducing the key differences between the systems in philosophy, structure, and application. 322 Library of Congress classification, LCC philosophy, developed for a specific, vast collection, an enumerative classification of the library's own books, pragmatic and expansive structure, 21 main classes denoted by a single letter, e.g., H for social sciences, N for fine arts, highly enumerative, listing many specific subjects. Notation, alphanumeric and mixed, e.g., HD 9502A2, often longer and less hierarchical than DDC. 323 Dewey Decimal classification, DDC philosophy, developed to organize all knowledge based on a Protestant, Victorian worldview designed for simplicity and ease of use. Structure, 10 main classes, 100 divisions, 1000 sections, e.g., 500 science, 530 physics, 532 fluid dynamics. Decimal-based notation. Notation, purely Arabic numerals, hierarchical, e.g., a book classified with 532 is more specific than 530, and both fall under 500, 324. Choosing a system. Brief discussion on how library type, collection size, and user base influence the choice between LCC, common in large academic libraries, and DDC, common in public and school libraries. 33 Faceted classification and future trends. 331 The limits of enumerative systems, the challenge of predetermining every possible subject combination, especially for interdisciplinary topics. 332 Introduction to Faceted Classification, Analitico. Synthetic core concept. Instead of a single pre-built number, the classifier builds a notation by combining elements from separate, standardized schedules for facets like personality, matter, energy, space, and time. MEST. Example, economic impact of drought on California agriculture in the 1980s would combine facets for economics, drought, California, and 1980s key system, the colon classification, by S. R. Ranganathan, as the pioneering example. 333 The influence of faceted principles, how modern DDC and LCC editions have incorporated synthetic elements, e.g., DDC Table 2, geographic areas, etc. 334 Future trends and digital adaptation, classification in the OPAC, how classification data powers online browsing and facet-based filtering in discovery layers, e.g., limiting search results by topic or region, the semantic web and linked data, how classification systems can serve as structured knowledge organization systems, COS, to connect data on the web. Folksonomies and social tagging, the emergence of user-generated keywords, tags, as a complementary, bottom-up organizational method to top-down classification. Machine learning and AI, the potential for automated subject analysis and classification. Chapter conclusion. Classification is not a static, historical practice but a dynamic field of theory that is essential for information retrieval. Understanding the principles behind LCC and DDC provides the necessary context for their practical application. Furthermore, recognizing the shift towards faceted analysis and digital integration is crucial for any information professional navigating the future of knowledge organization. Connects to index terms, classification systems, p29, Library of Congress classification, LCC, p31, Dewey Decimal Classification, DDC, p40, in digital environments, p39, 115, Folksonomies, p39, Chapter 4, diving deep into the mechanics and application of the Library of Congress classification system. Part 2, the systems. In detail. Chapter 4, the Library of Congress classification, LCC, system, p31, chapter abstract. This chapter provides a comprehensive, practical guide to the Library of Congress classification, LCC, the system dominant in large academic and research libraries. It begins with its unique history, born from the needs of a specific national collection. The chapter then offers a guided tour of its schedules, demystifies the process of constructing a call number, and concludes with a walkthrough of its real-world application, empowering readers to navigate any LCC-based library with confidence. 41 History and development at the U.S. Library of Congress. 411 The pragmatic origin, the driving force, the need to organize the growing collections of the Library of Congress itself after the 1814 fire. 412 Rejecting Dewey, the decision by Herbert Putnam in 1897 that the Dewey Decimal Classification was insufficient for the scale, scope, and specialized nature of the LC's collection. 413 Working classification, the philosophy of building the system around the books already on the shelf, making it pragmatic and expansive rather than philosophically rigid. 414 Continuous evolution, how the system is constantly revised and updated by teams of subject specialists at the LC to accommodate new fields of knowledge. 42 Deciphering the schedules, an overview of classes. AZ 421 The structure of the schedules, introduction to the official, multi-volume LCC publications used by catalogers 422a. Guided tour of the main classes, A. General works, encyclopedias, almanacs, newspapers, bibliographies. B. Philosophy, psychology, religion, includes all branches of philosophy and psychology. C. Auxiliary sciences of history, archaeology, genealogy, heraldry. D. World history, except America, ancient, medieval, and modern history. E and F. American history, E. United States, F. Local U.S. history and other Americas. G. Geography, anthropology, recreation, maps, travel, environmental studies, folklore, sports. H. Social sciences, economics, sociology, business, statistics. J. Political science, government, political theory, international relations. K. Law, a massive schedule covering all jurisdictions. L. Education, educational theory, administration, history. M. Music, scores, books on music and fine arts, architecture, sculpture, painting, decorative arts. P. Language and literature, philology, linguistics, and the literatures of all languages. Q. Science, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology. R. Medicine, all fields of medicine and health. S. Agriculture, farming, animal husbandry, forestry. T. Technology, engineering, manufacturing, computing. U. Military science. V. Naval science. Z. Bibliography, library science, information resources. 43. Creating a call number, class, subclass, cutter, and date. 431. Step 1, the class line, selecting the correct alphanumeric classification from the schedules, e.g., HD for industry, PS for American literature. 432. Step 2, the cutter number. Purpose, to create a unique identifier, typically for the main entry, author or title. The cutter table, how the first letter of the entry determines the number, e.g., S254SA, S354SCH, S684SP. Example, a book by John Smith would be cuttered as S65433. Step 3, the year of publication, the final element, providing a chronological order for works by the same author on the same subject. 434. Putting it all together, a worked example, book, The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton M. Christensen, a book about business management, subject, HD, economic history and conditions, industry, management, HD 69, specific for management, HD 69M4, specific for marketing, author cutter, C494CH. Publication year, 2011. Final call number, HD 69M4C49 2011. 44. Practical application, shelving and browsing in an academic library. 441. Shelving order, alphanumeric order, letter by letter, then whole number, A, B, BF, C, D, D, DB, E, F, HD, HF, HG, decimal numbering, whole number. Order, then decimal order, e.g., 49, 495, 50, 100, 1005, cutter number order, treated as a decimal number, A2, A23, A3, 442. The browsing experience, the collocation advantage, how LCC gathers all materials on a specific subject in one physical location. Navigating the stacks, how to read the shelves to move from a general subject to a more specific one. Case study, browsing for American poetry. Start at PS, American literature, PS 1 to 3576 is the general range. PS 300, 3576 is for individual authors. Authors are filed alphabetically by their cutter number, e.g., Frost, Robert, F7, Whitman, Walt, W4. Chapter conclusion. The LCC, while complex, is a powerful and logical system designed for depth and precision. By understanding its history, structure, and the rules of call number construction, users and information professionals can move beyond simply finding a single call number to truly understanding the organization of knowledge within a research library and leveraging it for effective discovery. Connects to index terms, Library of Congress classification, LCC, P31, call numbers, P33, cutter numbers, P36, browsing, shelving, P38, academic libraries, P55, Chapter 5, providing a clear and practical exploration of the Dewey Decimal Classification System and its role in the library landscape. Part 2, the systems in detail. Chapter 5, the Dewey Decimal Classification, DDC, System, P40, Chapter Abstract. This chapter delves into the world's most widely used library classification system, the Dewey Decimal Classification. It begins with the story of its innovative, and controversial, creator, Melville Dewey. The chapter breaks down its elegant hierarchical structure and purely numeric notation, demonstrating its intuitive design for public access. A practical walkthrough shows how to navigate a public library using DDC, and the chapter concludes with a direct comparison to LCC, outlining the key factors that influence a library's choice between these two. Foundational Systems. 51 Melville Dewey and a System for Everyone. 511 The prolific innovator, Dewey's role not just in classification, but in founding the American Library Association, ALA, and the first library school, embodying a spirit of efficiency and standardization in librarianship. 512 A system born of necessity, the 1873 genesis at Amherst College, a need for a practical system to manage a library collection, leading to the publication of the first edition in 1876. 513 The Protestant Victorian worldview, a critical examination of the inherent biases in Dewey's original structure, which placed Western thought, Christianity, and white male perspectives at the center of knowledge. Discussion of ongoing efforts by OCLC to address these biases in modern editions. 514 Global adoption, the factors leading to DDC's widespread use in public, school, and small academic libraries worldwide, including its simplicity, expressiveness, and ease of translation. 52 The hierarchical structure. From 000 to 999. 521 The foundation, 10 main classes, 000 Computer science, information, and general works. 100 Philosophy and psychology. 200 Religion. 300 Social sciences. 400 Language. 500 Science. 600 Technology. 700 Arts and recreation. 800 Literature. 900 History and geography. 522 Divisions and sections, how each 100 division is broken into 10 divisions, e.g., 500 Science, 520 Astronomy, 523 Specific celestial bodies, and then again into 10 sections, 5231 Universe, 5232 Solar System, 5233 Moon, 5234 Planets, 523 The decimal principle, the use of the decimal point to create ever more specific numbers, allowing for theoretical infinite expansion, e.g., 6,367 dogs, 63,672 hunting dogs, 636,725 golden retrievers, 524 standard subdivisions. Table 1 How to add common concepts like -09 historical treatment, -05 serial publications, or -03 dictionaries to any number, e.g., 6103 medical dictionary, 53 practical application, navigating a public library. 531 The logic of the shelves, how the numeric sequence guides a user from general areas to specific topics. 532 A step-by-step navigation example, finding a book on yoga. Start in the social sciences, 300s, narrow to health, 613, find 6137, physical fitness, locate 613-7046, yoga, from table 1-046 is added for a specific activity. Browse the shelf at 613-7046 to find all books on yoga. 533 Fiction and biography, explanation of common exceptions, fiction often organized alphabetically by author's last name, FIC. King, and biography organized under the subject's last name, B. Obama, 534 The role of the OPAC, how the online catalog provides the specific DDC number, which acts as a map coordinate to the physical item. 54 LCC vs DDC, choosing the right system for your library. 541 Comparative analysis, philosophy, DDC, theoretical, hierarchical, universal, vs LCC, pragmatic, enumerative, developed from a specific collection, notation, DDC, purely numeric, hierarchical, often shorter, vs LCC, alphanumeric. Mixed, often longer, maintenance, DDC, centrally maintained by OCLC, with a strong editorial board, vs LCC, maintained by the Library of Congress. Subject specialists, depth of coverage, LCC is often considered more detailed for law, government publications, and specific historical topics. 542 Decision-making factors, library type, DDC is the standard for public and school libraries. LCC is the standard for large academic and research libraries. Collection size and scope, DDC can be more efficient. For smaller, general collections, LCC's expansiveness suits massive, specialized collections. User base, DDC's decimal notation is often seen as more intuitive for the general public. LCC is geared towards specialist researchers. Tradition and consistency, the cost and immense effort of reclassifying an existing collection often outweigh the benefits of switching systems. Chapter conclusion, the Dewey Decimal Classification remains a triumph of practical information architecture, designed for public accessibility. Its logical, hierarchical structure provides an intuitive path to knowledge for millions of users. Understanding its strengths and limitations in direct comparison to LCC is essential for any information professional involved in collection management or user instruction, highlighting that the choice of a classification system is a strategic decision with lasting implications. Connects to index terms, Dewey Decimal Classification, DDC, P40, Classification Systems, P29, Public Libraries, P53, Browsing, Shelving, P38, Call Numbers, P33, Chapter 6, focusing on the core operational functions that apply to all libraries and how they manifest differently in public and academic settings. Part 3, Practical Applications in Different Environments. Chapter 6, Core Functions in Practice, P49, Chapter Abstract. This chapter moves from theory to practice, examining the essential operational functions that underpin all library services. It begins with the foundational process of building a collection, exploring the policies and practices that guide it universally. The chapter then splits into two focused application spotlights, illustrating how the core mission of an institution, whether serving a community's popular needs or a university's scholarly requirements, profoundly shapes the execution of these functions. From the materials acquired to the services offered. 61 Collection development, policy and practice across libraries. 611 The collection development policy, a library's constitution. Purpose, to guide selectors, justify decisions to stakeholders, and uphold intellectual freedom. Key components, mission statement, community/user profile, selection criteria, scope, quality, format, currency, deselection, weeding, guidelines, and procedures for handling challenged materials. 612 The selection process, sources, reviews, e.g., library journal, Kirkus, vendor catalogs, patron requests, and professional judgment. Acquisition models, firm orders, standing orders, approval plans, and demand-driven acquisition, DDA, or patron-driven acquisition, PDA. 613 The art and science of weeding, the necessity of removing outdated, inaccurate, or unused materials to maintain a relevant, credible, and usable collection, using guidelines like the Musty or Crew methods. 614 The shift to collection management, moving beyond just acquiring materials to the holistic management of access, including licensing digital resources, negotiating consortial agreements, and providing access over ownership. 62 Application spotlight, public libraries, community focus, readers advisory, and programming, P53, 621 Community-led collection development, focus, high-demand popular materials, best-selling fiction, DVDs, video games, music, diverse formats, large print, audiobooks, and materials that reflect the local community's languages and interests. Weeding, heavy rotation to ensure currency and condition, multiple copies of high-demand items. 622 The service of reader's advisory, definition, the interactive process of helping a patron find their next great read based on their preferences. Tools, knowledge of genres, appeal factors, pace, character, storyline, and resources like novelist displays, themed book displays as a form of passive reader's advisory. 623 Programming as a core service, mission, to provide lifelong learning, cultural enrichment, and a community gathering space. Examples, story times for early literacy, author talks, technology training classes, job seeker workshops, community movie nights, and local history clubs. 624 The public library as a social hub, emphasizing services like public computer access, meeting rooms, and outreach to homebound seniors and daycare centers. 63 Application spotlight, academic libraries, supporting scholarship and pedagogy, p55, 631 Curriculum and research-driven collections, focus, deep, scholarly collections supporting specific degree programs and faculty research areas, including specialized monographs, academic journals, primary sources, and datasets. Liaison model, subject specialist librarians who work directly with academic departments to shape collections. Weeding, slower cycle, with a focus on retaining historical and foundational scholarly works, even with low circulation. 632 Instruction and information literacy, definition, teaching students the skills to find, evaluate, and use information effectively and ethically. Models, one-shot sessions embedded in specific courses, credit-bearing courses, and online tutorials, e.g., LibGuides, videos, collaboration, working with faculty to integrate information literacy outcomes into course assignments. 633 Advanced research support, services, in-depth, by-appointment research consultations, systematic review support, data management planning, and bibliometric analysis. Scholarly communication, supporting faculty with copyright advice, open access publishing, and managing institutional repositories. 634 Supporting the academic physical space, providing quiet study areas, group collaboration rooms, and often hosting writing centers and technology help desks. Chapter conclusion, while all libraries share the core function of connecting users with information, the application of this function is beautifully diverse. A public library's success is measured by its community engagement and circulation of popular materials, while an academic library's value is tied to its support for scholarly output and student learning outcomes. Understanding these distinct operational environments is key to effectively managing and working within them. Connects to index terms, collection development, p51, public libraries, p53, academic libraries, p55, reference services, p72, information literacy, p74, chapter 7, which delves into the critical, though often invisible, infrastructure that makes library collections discoverable. Part 3, Practical Applications in Different Environments. Chapter 7, Behind the Scenes, Cataloging and Technical Services, p60, Chapter Abstract. This chapter pulls back the curtain on the engine room of the library, the Technical Services Department. It explains the complex, standardized work that transforms a physical book or digital resource into a discoverable database record. The chapter walks through the modern rules of descriptive cataloging, RDA, the digital container for that data, MARC, the process of assigning subject headings, LCSH, and ensuring consistency, authority control, and finally, how all this data flows into the integrated library system, ILS, that powers public discovery and library operations. 71 From item to record, descriptive cataloging, RDA, 711 The goal of cataloging, to create a surrogate record that uniquely identifies and describes an item, following Cutter's objects, to find, to identify, to select, and to obtain 712. The shift from AACR2 to RDA, AACR2, Anglo-American Cataloging Rules, 2nd ed.a rules-based standard focused on describing physical items for card catalogs. RDA, Resource Description and Access, a new, principles-based framework designed for the digital world. It focuses on describing entities, works, expressions, manifestations, items, the FRBR model, and their relationships. 713 core RDA elements: what information is recorded, title proper, parallel title, other title information, statement of responsibility, authors, editors, composers, etc., publication, production, distribution, etc. Place, publisher, date, physical description, extent, dimensions, illustrations, or carrier type for digital objects. Series statement. 72 machine readable cataloging, MARC, format. 721 The purpose of MARC, to provide a standardized container or data format so that catalog records can be easily shared, sold, and read by different library computer systems. 722 Decoding the MARC record, fields, define 3-digit numbers, e.g., 100 for main entry personal name, 245 for title statement, 654. Topical subject heading, indicators, 2 character positions at the start of some fields that provide additional instructions for processing or display subfields, delineated by a delimiter, and a single letter, e.g., A, B, C, used to break down field data into its component parts, e.g., 245 of The Great Gatsby. C. by F. Scott Fitzgerald. 723 The ecosystem of sharing, the role of bibliographic utilities like OCLC WorldCat, where libraries copy, enhance, and share MARC records, avoiding redundant original cataloging. 73 Subject analysis, LCSH and authority control. 731 Subject analysis, the intellectual process of determining the aboutness of an item. 732 Library of Congress subject headings, LCSH structure, pre-coordinated, controlled vocabulary strings, e.g., cooking, Italian history. 20th century, syntax, the use of subdivisions to narrow a topic by place, time, form, or topic. The red books, the print, and now online, authority files that list all valid headings. 733 Authority control, the glue of consistency, the problem, a single author can be named in different ways, J.R.R. Tolkien, John R.R. Tolkien, Tolkien, J.R.R., John Ronald Reuel, 1892–1973, the solution, the creation of an authority record that establishes one authorized form of a name, title, or subject heading and links all variant forms to it. Result, a search for any variant will lead the user to all works by that author or on that subject, vastly improving discoverability. 74 The integrated library system, ILS, as the central hub. 741 Modules of an ILS, cataloging module, where MARC records are created, edited, and imported. Acquisitions module, manages ordering, invoicing, and budgets for new materials. Serials module, tracks complex subscriptions to journals and magazines. Circulation module, handles checking items in/out, placing holds, managing patron accounts. OPAC, online public access catalog, the public-facing discovery interface that patrons use to search the catalog. 742 The data flow, how a MARC record, once created in the cataloging module, becomes instantly searchable in the OPAC, and how its status, checked out, on shelf, is managed by the circulation module. 743 The modern shift to discovery layers, how many ILSs now have a more modern, user-friendly search interface layered on top of the traditional catalog, providing a Google-like experience that still draws on the structured MARC data underneath. Chapter conclusion, cataloging and technical services are the unsung heroes of library operations. The meticulous work of applying RDA, encoding in MARC, assigning LCSH, and maintaining authority files creates the rich, structured data that allows a user to find exactly what they need from among millions of items. The ILS is the technological nexus where this data becomes functional, proving that powerful discovery is built on a foundation of precise organization. Connects to index terms, cataloging, P60, RDA, P61, mark format, P62, authority control, P64, LCSH, P63, ILS, P111, OPAC, P101, Chapter 8, Exploring the Unique World of Special Libraries and Information Centers. Part 3, Practical Applications in Different Environments. Chapter 8, Special Libraries and Information Centers, P71, Chapter Abstract. This chapter ventures beyond the traditional public and academic models into the highly specialized and mission-driven realm of special libraries. It defines the core characteristic that unites them, serving a narrow, well-defined user group with specialized information needs. The chapter explores the various types of special libraries, their unique collections and client-focused services, and the critical skills required to manage and market these services within a parent organization. It concludes with an in-depth application spotlight on the evolving field of knowledge management, which often falls under the purview of the corporate information professional. 81 Defining the special library, corporate, government, law, medical. 811 The unifying principle, service to a limited, defined clientele, employees, members, specialists, rather than the general public. 812 Types and missions, corporate libraries, for-profit entities that support the strategic goals of the business, e.g., competitive intelligence, market research, R&D support, patent analysis. Government libraries, serve government agencies and officials at federal, state, and local levels, e.g., legislative research, public policy analysis, regulatory compliance, law. Libraries, support the work of law firms, courts, and law schools. Specialize in case law, statutes, regulations, and legal scholarship. Medical libraries, located in hospitals, medical schools, and pharmaceutical companies, provide critical access to clinical research, medical journals, and evidence-based practice guidelines for healthcare professionals. Other types, museum libraries, news libraries, non-profit organization libraries. 82 Specialized collections and client-focused services. 821 Collection scope, highly focused and deep, not broad. Often includes expensive, specialized databases, e.g., Bloomberg Terminal, Westlaw, LexisNexis, PubMed, IEEE Splore, Gray literature, technical reports, white papers, internal documents, standards and patents. Archival materials related to the parent organization. 822 Service model, just-in-time vs just-in-case, deep dive research, providing synthesized answers, literature reviews, and analyzed packages of information, not just a list of sources. Current awareness services, tailored alerts and newsletters on industry news, competitor activity, and new research for individual clients or teams. Rush/urgent request culture, the expectation of fast turnaround for time-sensitive business decisions. 83 Management and marketing of information services. 831 The embedded business model, often a cost center within a larger organization, not a publicly funded institution. 832 Proving value and ROI, the constant need to demonstrate how the library's services contribute to the organization's bottom line, win cases, improve patient outcomes, or inform policy metrics, tracking usage, documenting time saved, calculating cost avoidance, e.g., we saved the R&D team $50,000 in database subscriptions by providing this research. 833 Strategic marketing, actively promoting services to a captive but busy audience through internal newsletters, lunch and learns, and building relationships with key departments. 834 The special librarian as strategic partner, moving from a reactive service point to a proactive, embedded expert who anticipates information needs. 84 Application spotlight, knowledge management in corporations, P79, 841 From information to knowledge, distinguishing between information, external data, reports, and knowledge, the internal, often tacit, expertise and experience of employees. 842 The goal of KM, to capture, organize, and share an organization's collective knowledge to improve efficiency, foster innovation, and prevent knowledge loss from employee turnover. 843 Kilometers Tools and strategies, intranets and wikis, central repositories for procedures, best practices, and project documentation. Expertise locators, yellow pages systems that help employees find in-house experts. Communities of practice, facilitating groups of employees who share a common interest to share knowledge. After action reviews and lessons learned. Databases, systematically capturing knowledge from completed projects. 844 The natural evolution, how the skills of librarians' organization, taxonomy creation, information retrieval, and service make them ideal candidates to lead or significantly contribute to KM initiatives. Chapter conclusion. Special libraries and information centers represent the application of information expertise at its most focused and strategic level. The librarian in this setting is not a passive keeper of books but an active agent of change, leveraging deep domain knowledge, specialized resources, and client-centric services to directly advance the goals of their parent organization. The field's evolution into knowledge management signifies its critical role in managing an organization's most valuable asset in the 21st century. Intellectual capital connects to index terms, information centers, P71, special libraries, P5, knowledge management, P79, reference services, P72, Chapter 9, which explores the distinct yet related fields of archives and museums, highlighting their unique principles and the modern challenges they share with libraries. Part 3, Practical Applications in Different Environments. Chapter 9, Related Institutions, Archives and Museums, P89, Chapter Abstract. This chapter expands the view of cultural heritage institutions